It is human nature that all the attention is only on the first few things that is most obvious, and something else gets passed by unnoticed. It's a trick, a sleight of hand that magicians use all the time. In watch design, it is these unnoticed qualities that separate the good from the great. All watches have the same basic parts: the case, the dial, the hands, and so on. What makes them look different is how the designer stylized each essential element that make up the overall character of the piece. Most good pieces got a few of these design decisions right, but the piece we're featuring today got many. And sometimes the less obvious things slip by unnoticed. We're talking about the Omega Seamaster from the 90s, the Pierce Brosnan James Bond version, launched in 1993, at the time when Jean-Claude Bivet was the mastermind of Omega. It is the piece that truly began a new chapter of the Seamaster. Comparing to the pre-Bond generation, we can see that it was a total redesign of the piece. Literally, all the elements are changed, reinterpreted in the forward-looking perspective of the 90s, rather than looking back to the 70s and 80s. The first few things that got all the attention are the blue color scheme, the wave dial, the skeleton hands, which we'll talk about countless times at great length elsewhere in the online world. But we are here today to talk about the overlooked feature, which I think elevates the status of this piece from good to great. That is the geometry of the case, and to the extent the bracelet. Before talking about the Seamaster, let's start with the comparison with the less intricate piece in my collection, this humble Citizen Eagle 7. It is a simple piece, 3-hand, white dial with a day-date function, typical to Japanese economy brands like Seiko and Citizen. The only feature that makes it different is the bezel design, which is carved out in dodecagon fashion, a 12-segment geometry, and it gets more interesting with the alternate finish of brush and polished surface. This geometry is also used in the Seamaster with great attention to details. It complements perfectly to the blue dive bezel, but it becomes an invisible supporting actor when compared with the wave dial or skeleton hands. This characteristic is further carried on to the twisted lugs, which has alternate finish of polished and brushed surface, which then match nicely to the small polished strip on the end links that are then echoed in the pattern of the bracelet, a continuation of features that is the hallmark of a great design. Before I got this piece, and even in the first few months of wearing it, these features were not on my radar at all. The attention was in the blue part of it, from the bezel narrowing down into the dial, and a little quirkily placed helium escape valve. It is only when I noticed the unique bling of it that I start to ask myself, what makes its bling different from Rolex's or other precious metal pieces? The answer is the geometry of the case. It reminds me of the cut of diamonds and other gemstones, which is the way jewelers create facets for them to play with light. The difference in the angle of reflection creates a kind of dazzling bling to the gems. Missing out these qualities, the Seamaster as we know it would never be this sophisticated. The geometry of the case adds another layer to the main features and alter the overall look and feel and wearing experience of the piece. These geometric features are not new when it comes to watch design. We've seen the decagon carving elsewhere. The twisted lock is more than 60 years old, but only when they are combined tastefully and topped up with the earth-shattering redesign of the main features, like the dial and hands, that it became another masterpiece of the industry, with sophistication and depth that propel it to the classics. Let me know whether you agree with me on this.